Yes. Welcome back to the void, the Onyx Void. I am re-recording this because I didn't feel the audio I recorded Saturday was up to par, and I got a couple of things on the agenda that are going to get changed around. I'll explain. First of all, the scheduling. I'm thinking I'll probably start posting videos Monday and Thursday. Those seem far enough apart that I can at least get my thoughts straight. Can at least, get things done. And I want to change the schedule because I'm finding that I'm starting to get a little bit more work. Not today, of course. I ain't getting work on this Monday. This industrious Monday on the week of Christmas, as everyone has gone into their New Year's, Christmas Eve, Christmas malaise. But if you can hear in the background, the people that are essential are still out and humming along because they don't get days off. But this is YouTube, and we don't get days off, but I'm not going to let the algorithm describe what I should do with a channel that I'm not really going to make any money on or are getting paid to do. Now, maybe I'll build an audience, maybe I won't. But some reasons why I'm choosing to reduce my schedule. I already mentioned that I'm getting a little bit more work outside of YouTube. Two, I don't want to feel like I'm producing slop. There's a lot of YouTube channels on there, and I say this all the time, that I'm not seeing anything revolutionary, anything new, because I am following those YouTube channels. I'm picking up a lot of past and present day conversations and just rolling them into my videos, as a lot of other YouTubers do as well. And that comes to reason number 3. I want to distance myself away from YouTube and watching YouTube slop and just burning my time. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I have a lot of stuff to do, and in that time that I've not made a YouTube video, I've actually gotten some things done that I should have gotten done a long time ago. A lot of experiments and things that require very, very heavy concentration, like, coding in C, Bash, Python. I can get that by rotting my brain on YouTube, and that's reason number 4. The brain rot is real. And it starts with people posting the same thing with their voice and their face again and again and again on the same talking points. And that becomes your reality, and I got to remember to take YouTube with a grain of salt. I got to remember to take anything I see or hear on the internet with a grain of salt, because I got real life out here happening. Everybody else has real life out here happening. We do not exist as humans in a virtual world. We may pretend like we do, but when it really comes down to it, we're still in the 3 dimensions outside of cyberspace, and we require food, shelter, and some place to trade our money, our time for money, time for currency. And I may have a job coming up. I may have a stable 9 to 5 coming up beginning of January. I haven't got there yet. It's just around the corner. But I'm finding that I'm going to have to suck it up and do something about the bills that are coming up at the beginning of January before I even get the job, which sucks. Now, I'm not the type of person to take out loans. I hate taking out loans. I think the whole system of loaning and debt is the whole reason why we are in this situation that we're in as an economy, where people have to come and create a second, third, fourth job just yapping on YouTube. There was a time and place, if you're old enough to remember, YouTube back in 2006 was just getting started, where this wasn't a job. This just wasn't trading your time for money. There wasn't curated content and super edited content for people to consume and trade their time for currency. It was just YouTube. You come on here, you share your thoughts and opinions and some of the experiences you're having in the real world. But that's not the case. It seems that YouTube has simultaneously monetized people's time, tracking them where they are, and that's going to be point number 5. I don't want to be tracked and traced in my daily life like everybody else. In fact, I don't even have an identity tied to this YouTube channel just yet, and I don't think I want to. Even if it means that I'll be making a few pennies, I don't want to. But so many people have done it, it just seems like the normal thing to do. But the point I was going at is that I don't want to be in lockstep with the possible fake reality that is going on YouTube. Now, there are a lot of things that I can glean from YouTube that show up in the real world. Like have you seen the price of silver? I'm always going to mention the price of silver because it ties directly to the US dollar. The price of silver is on unheard of levels. Started out looking back to 2021, where it was at $21 per ounce. Now we're hitting $70 per ounce, getting close to it. And in some markets it is, and if you're buying physical, it's definitely well above $70 per ounce. And it's ridiculous to think that trading your time for a depreciating asset that is the USD is the way to go about things in current year, in current space, in current present time. 2026, we all know, we all feel it, is going to suck. We're going to feel it in a few days when Christmas hits. We're going to feel it when New Year's hits. And a lot of people won't be getting presents. A lot of people will be wondering why they're sleeping in their car. A lot of people will be wondering what went wrong. You know, this is not the America I grew up in, will be the sentiment. And a lot of people, once again, in lockstep, are saying that on YouTube. I'm not saying anything radical. I'm not saying anything, new. But it's been a long time coming. And speaking from Friday's experience, I was going to add on to Friday's experience. So Saturday, I blew someone's mind. And I was just having a thought about this. A lot of the millionaires and billionaires, this doesn't affect them. Eventually somebody's going to get greedy below the multi-millionaires. Eventually the just regular millionaires and people below are going to get greedy. And this economy is going to pick up. But before then, before all that happens, before all the distraction happens of people just trying to survive and get another bone, another dollar for what's quickly becoming the Weimar Republic, via Japan just not taking any more of the USA's BS due to a certain treaty that happened in 1946. The billionaires are not affected. the multimillionaires, the high multimillionaires, are not affected. Warren Buffett can leave. Jay-Z and Beyonce can leave. Bezos can leave. He has yachts in other places. He has weddings in other places. He doesn't come to the USA for weddings. He doesn't stay in the USS for his weddings and all that good stuff. He goes and does things. And those are the public figures we know about. We don't know about the people, like every billionaire or multimillionaire. We're not keeping tabs on their lives because, well, we're busy with our own lives. But what really blew somebody's mind is they were asking me about tech jobs and stuff, and technology and stuff. And I told them that Bill Gates is not a U.S. It's not a U.S. citizen. It's not a United States citizen. And they didn't know that. That really just flipped their reality up on their heads. And it was interesting to watch that realization happen in real time. So here he was thinking that Bill Gates was still, running Microsoft, when that is no longer the case. Hasn't been the case for quite some time. But still has a amount of control over the people that uses his operating system, that uses his system in general, because Bill Gates is not just Microsoft and technology. He's doing other things as a billionaire or multimillionaire. I forgot how much money he has. I'm not keeping track. I just know he's rich. He's wealthy. I just know he's wealthy. Let's put it that way. But there was a 7 point in there. I forgot what it was. Other than not being tracked and traced and having my data fed, actual real data that I try to embezzle as much as possible, but I can't find a reason to do so. But having to report into YouTube, which is Google, which is Alphabet, which is strongly connected to the three-letter agencies in the United States, that just rubs me the wrong way. It really does. Let's see. I'm trying to remember the 7 point. I was on it. Let's see. Anyways, I'm going to talk about the main topic of this video and popular subject right now. GPUs. Yay, RAM prices, GPUs. Everybody's screaming that the RAM prices and the GPUs are expensive and nobody will be able to PC game anymore. Oh my god. Look. I've said this plenty of times on my Sock Puppet account. I'm going to say it here. 2025, 2026 especially, is no time for multi-millionaires to be gaming. Alright? All your favorite YouTubers, Twitchers, whatever, streamers, XQC, I guess Pokimane, Markiplier, all these guys, they're multi-millionaires. They can afford to be gaming in 2026 and have people pay them to do so. If you haven't made it to that point, this is not the time to be gaming. In fact, you should be highly looking into the reason why the GPUs are so expensive, why RAM is so expensive. And people are getting to it, but there's a next step beyond that, and that's going to put the kibosh on these people that allow this to happen, these regulators, these people that are running this scheme to keep people either A, distracted, or P, impoverished by making what was once a leisurely activity and now a mainstay of society just unaffordable for the regular person. We need bills passed. We need new leaders in the political offices. We need new blood. And yeah, okay, make the sacrifice a certain Charlie K made, bringing in the new blood, actually being popular, actually speaking some kind of sensical matter, and then not kissing the ring. You might catch a bullet. You might catch a bullet from the old guard that doesn't want to give up their control. But we need them out of there. We need the regulators to flip. And it's more evident every day. Especially the way that, how they said Trump went off script about the K cars from Japan. We should have cars from, small cars. I know everybody brings up the safety ratings, the crash rate. Okay, well then, how many people are going to continue to be able to afford your big giant F-150s, your big giant Tahoes, Suburban SUVs? Not very many. Not very many, especially when it's a breakdown. You're going to have a real problem, but even more so, there's so many on the lots that nobody knows what to do with them. They can't sell them. Nobody can afford them. Nobody can afford to come pull them off the lot and do something with them. So we just got a bunch of manufactured rolling computers on wheels just not doing anything. And once again, it's a reason to go find the regulators. It's a known position that the regulations are so stiff on small vehicles that everybody's forced to buy a giant vehicle, and it makes the roads dangerous when somebody's got a 3-ton vehicle going down the road at 60 miles an hour and a phone in one hand, one eye on the phone, one eye on the road, completely distracted, just plowing into anybody that they want. I've sent the pictures. I've seen the receipts. I've seen buildings crashed into. I've seen terrible, terrible accidents. Side swipes, T-bones, whatever you name it. Was there SUV involved? Most likely not. But if it was, the other person wasn't walking away from it. But this has to come to an end. Okay, yeah. My push for K cars. Alright. I want to say Trump is onto something. Yeah, okay, they'll argue the legality of Trump actually mandating that we have, K cars. But there was a push for cars that only went 55 miles an hour. And I think here's my stance. Any car or vehicle, any vehicle under 1500 cc should be completely exempt from crash regulations and emissions compliance. At that point, it's more of a UTV. It's more of a UTV than it is a fully fledged road-going vehicle. Although Japan has made it work because, well, they live on an island and they don't have a lot of space for parking. We should have that in America. And it's not saying that those cars can't do above 55. They can. A few of them can. Like the Honda Beat can. It'll take it a while, but it can. But essentially, you're taking motorcycle engines and shoving them into cars. And with the technology from Koenigsegg, with their 1.3 liter, the technology that's been around since the Geo Metro was around, and it had its 1.3 liter or 1.3 liter turbo, aka the Suzuki Swift. We just need that again. It's like, why can't we build that? We need to build that again. We need to happen so that people can have some kind of transportation to get to the job they don't have. I see a lot of people. I'm actually seeing a lot of people, even in this wintertime, as you get on it and freeze, they're converting to motorcycles. I think I mentioned that previously. Everybody's getting on the motorcycle train. The cars are just too expensive. The SUVs, the trucks, whatever, they're just too expensive. Nobody can afford it. But I'm gonna leave it there. What do you guys think? Do you think we need K cars? Do you think we need to do something about these regulators? Or are we just gonna continue down this path until eventually it gets beyond a life or death situation? Let me know in the comments. Drop your comments into the void. My schedule will be Mondays and Thursdays. I can deal with that, I think. And I'll see you guys in the next one.